What's up everyone, this is Cassie here from Passive Passion Online Income, and in today's video I am going to be talking to you about low content publishing, no content publishing, and the contribution that it has been making to the publishing industry from an overall perspective. All right, but before I get into the nitty-gritty details, before I get into the meat and potatoes, I'm going to see you guys right after this short little intro. So welcome back. As I was saying earlier, today's video is going to be all about low content and no content publishing and its contribution as two different markets to the overall publishing industry. Now, low content and no content publishing happens to be a lucrative industry. All right, it happens to be a lucrative market which you should definitely try getting into, or which you should definitely go and test out, because I have been testing it out for almost a year now, and I've seen some really good results. But having said that, it's very important to know what your niche is, and at the same time you also need to prioritize the aspect of developing and growing your brand when you start publishing books in a certain category. Okay, now I will be taking you through some very important, popular, and at the same time profitable niches where you guys can try publishing some low content books. All right, but again, as I said, end of the day, what matters is quality, quantity. Also, I will be speaking about that in a few seconds, and your objective when it comes to building your brand with your certain number of books. All right, so firstly, let me share with you why I've decided to talk about low content and no content in today's video. Was because I was actually having a discussion with a few of my students, all right, in my group, and it was a question which was asked to me by one of the guys who was saying that at the moment struggling to find funds to publish my books. So what do you think is your opinion? I mean, should I try out the low content market or the no content market? And this was my advice to him. I told him that if you're really tight on funds, I mean, if you're running short on cash, or you really cannot afford to go out and spend money on high content books, particularly in the non-fiction market, then you should definitely get started with low content. All right, now what are some of the most famous low content niches? You've got journals, you've got the logbooks, you've got the dot books, you've got the budget planners, you've got let's say the coloring books, you've got the puzzle books, you've got a lot of different ranges of books that you can put out there in the market, especially for children. I mean, most of the kids, they like something which helps them get into that activity mode where they can do be part of those puzzles in the book, where they can be part of jokes, books especially pertaining to kid jokes or children's jokes. That's another genre that really does well. Okay, and especially in the last quarter of the year, if you've got a good number of books in those niches, you can really experience phenomenal sales. All right, now there's an amazing course which has been created by one of my business associates. All right, I will be putting the link below in the description so you guys can go out and check it out. All right, and definitely get enrolled, because it's not going to cost you a fortune. All right, it's a cheap course. I mean, when I say cheap, in the sense in terms of the price that has been set, but the content and the quality of information that you get is out of this world, and you can start using the principles and theories that has been taught in the course, go out there, execute, and start making money. All right, so back to my point of people who struggle with the initial capital that is required for high content publishing. Yes, if you are struggling with the capital to get started with high content publishing, then I would definitely suggest you guys to get started with low content publishing. All right, it doesn't cost you much money. I'm also going to be taking you guys through those popular websites where people normally go to buy the interior and covers, so that it would give you guys an idea on whom to approach, or how to get started with this whole process of low content publishing. All right, so If you really are struggling, you really cannot make it in the high content, get started with low content publishing, guys. But then remember, if you are going to be putting out, let's say, two different books in the journal niche, all right, let's say it could be the gratitude journal, it could be, let's say, your daily planner journal, all right, or if you're gonna pump out some books in the let's say monthly budget planner, all right, or let's say wedding journals. Wedding journals is another popular and hot niche where you can make good amount of money, provided you know how to strategize your business plan. So these are some examples which I can give you, which you could dive and test into. But remember that you need to put out a certain amount of quantity. Okay, if you just put out one or two books and think that it's going to make you fortune, well, sorry to say, this ain't gonna work. Okay, you need to put a good number of books. I would say at least put out 6 books to 12 books, to start seeing some really good results coming in. Because in the game of low content, quantity is what matters at the end. Now I'm not saying that quality isn't important. Quality is definitely important, but you also need to make it a point, or you need to make it a habit. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you need to make sure that you put out a good number of books out there, which is relevant to each other. Okay, so if you're putting, let's say, one book in the wedding journal niche, make sure that you put out at least 10 to 12 books, all right, which are different from each other, all right. At the same time, if you're going to put out a book in the, let's say, monthly budget planner niche, all right, put out at least 10 to 12. That's how you're going to keep minting those thousands and thousands of dollars from those different niches on a monthly basis. Now, what is no content? No content means these are books that basically do not have any content in them, all right. Let's say you're talking about those calendar books, okay, those monthly budget planner books, okay, which has no content at all. Let's say that it has no text, it has no writings. Those are basically those no content books, okay. And low content books are basically those books which has a little bit of text, which has a little bit of writings, all right. It could be your journals, it could be your, let's say, your coloring books with a little bit of text, for the kids, and so on, all right. So that was just to give you guys some examples of low content and no content books, all right. Now I'm going to be heading over to my desk, and I'll be flipping over the camera so that you guys can see what are the popular niches when it comes to low content and no content. And at the same time, I'm also going to be showing you those websites which you guys can make use of when it comes to ordering your interiors and all other relevant designs pertaining to your low content and no content publishing books. All right, so as I was saying earlier, I'm going to be showing you some of the top hot niches when it comes to the low content publishing. All right, so let's begin with daily planners. All right, now daily planners are really useful books which are purchased by not just corporate or, let's say, office employees, but it's a kind of a journal or notebook which is required for your day-to-day planning activities. Okay, so here, once you go the search results are actually on the high side. I still consider this high, but what you need to do is you need to actually drill down. Okay, you need to drill down. Let's say, for example, daily planners for kids. Okay, so you can see it's got slightly less search results. Then you can try something like, let's say, daily planners for women. Again, 70,000. So make sure that you drill down. Don't just use those generic terms, or like if you're just going to go with daily planner, all right, make it something more appealing, and try to direct your books or your products to a certain specific niche in the market. All right, you could go with daily planner for women, you could go with daily planner for girls, you could go with daily planner for boys, you could go with daily planner for men, you could go with daily planner for, let's say, corporate employees, and so on and so on. So try to be unique, try to dissect and try to distinguish your market amongst all the different options that's available here, and that will only happen if you take down time and do some research by yourself. Okay, the other famous or other most popular niche when it comes to low content is logbooks. Okay, so you could type, let's say, logbooks for office. All right, you get different samples out here. Now, as you can see, this is where it shows you the search results, and then you need to check the rankings. How good are the rankings? Ranking is still on the higher side, but again, as I told you, you'll have to be a little bit specific out here. Okay, we've got a logbook for truckers. See, less search results out here, just 1,000. But however, the ranking is not that good. Even if it's in the 300,000 or 200,000, I would still not get into it. For me, somewhere between, let's say, I still use the formula of high content publishing here when it comes to low content as well, because the goal is to make as much money as I can, and that too as fast as possible. So I would always go into a niche that has rankings that is below 100,000. Okay, majority of the books out here need to have ranking below 100,000. So try to again go specific. You could come up with some new ideas, like let's say, for example, logbooks for kids. You could type in logbooks for kids and see what comes in. So again, it's got a higher search result. However, the ranking seems to be appealing. See, 39,000, 31,000, 127,000, 61,000, 100,000, 97,000, 71,000. So you see, majority of the books out here are below 100,000. So that's how you need to distinguish your market or your niche. Okay, so this was just an example, logbook for kids. Then you could also go for, this is another popular low content niche, all right, which is manuscript notebook, for example, or sorry, manuscript paper notebook. All right, and then it's going to give you all these options. These books in particular are more popular for the musicians, because these are basically manuscript for musicians. As you can see the lines here, all right, this is very helpful or beneficial for musicians who want to write their notes. Okay, so they can write down their musical notes, which can help them with the performance, by just looking into the certain notebook and playing the music, whether it's guitar, piano, whatever musical instrument it may be. All right, so again, manuscript paper is a very popular niche, and as I said earlier, drill down, try to drill down and do your research. Try to be as specific as possible, these kind of books. So you've got manuscript paper for, let's say, kids, for example. See, 20,000 searches, less competition. All right, and look at the ranking. It's got amazing ranking. All right, pretty much all are less than 100,000 out here. All right. Okay, so that was manuscript. All right, we've got dot grid journals. All right, dot grid journals, in other words, are bullet point journals. All right, dot grid notebook. Here you see, again, slightly higher on the competition side, but when it comes to the rankings is what you need to focus on. Rankings and reviews in particular. Majority of the reviews. Can you really make in the mullah out here? That's what your focus has got to be in. So you got one here, dot grid. I mean, all these books are basically dot grid books. These are like those bullet point books, where you can take notes for your reference, let's say meetings, seminars, whatsoever. Okay, so that's the benefit of having dot grid journal books. Okay, yeah, like here, right here it is. No, the interior, we can really see the interior out here, but you get the idea, right? What a dot grid journal book is all about. Bullet points, so that you don't have to manually put in the bullet points and take note of. There's one here, which I hope gives me the sample which I'm looking for, so that I can show you guys. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, here it is, dot grid journals, the interior, as you can see. All right, so there are a plethora of options, guys. You can take out your time, you can explore it out, but always keep this in mind, that you have to drill down and be as specific as possible. Do not be very generic by just putting out a, let's say, dot grid notebook. Try to narrow down your research and go into those sub niche categories, like let's say dot grid notebook for kids, dot grid notebook for girls, and so on and so on. And then the other popular niche, which is one of my personal favorite, in which I've published some books and still continues making money, is guest books. Okay, this is a popular niche. If you market your books well, if you put out a good number of books, all related or relevant to pretty much each other, you can really do well in this. Again, as I said, go specific with this. Whatever niche it is, let's say, for example, guest books for birthday party. All right, guest book for birthday. Type in here. Here you go. 80,000 and above. When it's come to low content, that means competition is intense. But ranking ain't that good for me. So let's say guest books for visitors. Let's try this. Again, I really cannot divulge. I really cannot tell you exactly what my book topics are, because it's like sharing my own secrets. But just to give you guys an idea, that there is so much of money to be made in here. Like, look at this guest book for visitors, 30,000 searches, superb. Ranking is amazing. Okay, 24,000, 50,000, 49,000, 41,000, 43,000, 73, 103 still can be considered, 21,000. So you see the majority of the books have got superb ranking. So again, this is something which you could try and test to get into. Then you can also go for something like, let's say, guest book for anniversary, or let's say anniversary guest book. Okay, we've got 30,000 again. Good searches, ranking 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't see majority of the books having good rankings here, but on the previous example which I showed you, the books have really good rankings, so you could test it out. All right, and this is a niche which I've published several books in, and they all continue making good money. All right, so those were some of the most popular niches when it comes to low content. You could also try coloring books. Okay, there are some really interesting coloring book niches which you could get into. All right, like when it comes to kid coloring books and so on. So let's say some good examples I can give you is coloring book for kids ages 2 to 8. All right, 20,000 search results, but a great market to get into. All right, so you could test it out as well. All right, now I spoke to you about the top niches which you could get into and try it out. All right, now let me take you to the site which you guys can visit or go to in order to order the interiors, all right, or book covers. Now, if you've seen my previous videos on YouTube, you may have noticed that there was a video where I made showing you guys the personal favorite cover designers of mine who I use when it comes to designing covers. So let it be high content, let it be low content, I often use them when it comes to the designing of the covers for my books. And as I've explained in the course, I've also given you guys a lot of other different options in my Kindle Income Academy course, so you can check it out as well. But here we are. Okay, so this is fiverr.com. All right, this is one website where you get lots and lots of different options for your online business activities. Let it be designing, let it be writing, let it be creation of website, let it be anything. You can come out here and use the services. All right, so let's say, for example, here I will design cover custom low content book for Amazon KDP. Okay, so you could check out different options available out here, and you know what kind of different services they're giving. Like, let's say for premium, you get one cover file plus one full custom made interior for KDP low content. So this guy is giving you the service of cover designing as well, along with the low content interior. Let's say what are the services he's got: gratitude journal, prayer journal, recipe journal, daily planner, fitness tracker, school notebook, passion notebook, tracing letters and numbers, guest books, wedding planners, sketchbook, so on and so on, for any niche. So this is just one example which I've given you. All right, so other website which you could make use of is called Etsy.com. Okay, again, go and type in low content book. It's going to give you different samples out here. You can contact these designers or these illustrators and tell them what exactly you want inside your book, and then go out and publish it. Now, a few important tips which you guys need to take into consideration before you get into low content publishing businesses: do not just publish one book and forget it. So before you get into the market, you need to do your research properly, just as I've taken you through a few minutes ago. What I've done is I've just given you some good samples of those niches, or I've taken you to those niches where books sells really, really well. But before you get into those market, remember one thing: in the game of low content, no content publishing, all right, the more number of books that you can put out, the better. All right, so if you're going to publish, let's say, one book on unicorn out here, okay, let's say unicorn coloring book, and forget it, it ain't going to be bringing in that much amount of money or income for you. All right, so think of publishing multiple number of books. Okay, put out at least 4 to 10 books under unicorn, all right, or under the, let's say, theme of unicorn coloring book for kids, and you could put out, let's say, 4 to 5 dinosaur coloring books. All right, but start with one. All right, start with one subject or one topic to begin with, and same thing you could do with those journal books as well, as I told you earlier. All right, so you could go with, let's say, dot grid journal book, let's say dot grid notebook for school. Okay, so you put out, let's say, at least five dot grid notebook for school. You can publish it here, and then you could observe a few months on how well they are selling. If they continue selling well enough, whereby you've already made your ROI back in a short period of time, put out more books, okay, and then build a brand out of it. Like if this particular niche is doing well, put out at least 10 to 20 books, which brings you at least a minimum of $1,500 to $2,500 per month, and then try the same exercise in some other niche. Like let's say you could go with daily planners, for example. Okay, daily planners, and then in order to make it more specific, daily planners for kids. If your books are really doing well, put out at least 5 to 6 books out here, and then if you already made your ROI back, put out more, and that's how you build a brand. Okay, so you've got few number of books in this niche, you've got few number of books in other niches which I've discussed, and then you could increase your income from there on. So yes, low content publishing is a good market to get started with it, especially if you're tight on budget and so on. But of course, the real thrill or the real trick is to market your books properly. The advertising, how do you select certain important keywords when it comes to setting up your ad campaigns, and so on and so on. Now I cover all these important tips, tricks, and strategies in my course, which is the Kindle Income Academy. I'll be putting the link in the description section below. You can go and check it out. However, if you also do want to buy a course which solely or exclusively teaches you only about low content publishing, then I would recommend you click on the link for the low content publishing course, which is created by one of my business associates that I know very well, and he has put out a quality low content publishing course, and it's just cheap. It's not going to cost you a fortune. All right, it's only $100 as of now while I'm recording this. So go and check it out, get enrolled, and if you've got any questions, you can contact the person directly who's created the course. And if you buy my course, you ain't gonna learn just about low content, but you also are gonna be learning about high content publishing. All right, so you get basically expertise, knowledge, and information to all different industries or niches within the publishing business. All right, so that's it guys. That was a video. If you do have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Now I really do not take out time and answer each and every comment, but if you've got any question, send me an email. Yeah, feel free to send me an email. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll be seeing you guys in more videos soon. Till then, you guys take care. God bless.